Episode 58. So, I kinda botched yesterday, the last episode. Yesterday was going great in the first couple of episodes that made up yesterday, but the very last episode, where I was just kind of staring at the hints on my phone and trying to correlate them to the book and to the login on Blackbridge and all that, and then eventually finding out I was reading dummy logs. Kind of my worst episode in this game yet. I'll try to correct some of my mistakes at the beginning here. Go out of my way for it. Not just botched because I wasted a lot of time just reading through hints that I didn't really have to read through, both not solving the puzzle on my own and also not really doing things in an efficient manner so I don't have to waste my time with not solving the puzzle. But the other thing that botched last episode was I kind of screwed up some things that I could have done if I actually, didn't take a half measure in looking things up and just looked things up all the way. In between episodes, I was still trying to clear up my confusion regarding the dummy logs there. Found out some things that I should have been able to do probably a while ago. I guess I'll just handle these things one by one. The main thing is this. From the vault we got 3 passports, and I'm pretty sure I tried 2 or something. Turns out the third one that I got, the one that I already have a picture of, and assumed would just be a failure like the rest, you can actually log in with that one, and that's the one that gives you the non-dummy logs. And I actually could have done that if I tried that passport login before I even did all of that new clue stuff. So new clue gave us, what was it? I guess it'd be the last one entered. No, I guess, Well, we can look at this one first. So this is one of the actual, oh no. Oh, that's weird. There. So this one is one of the actual admins, like the network administrators that actually manage the system from Synca or whatever. And this was the admin logs that I read first. And I thought about it in the back of my head while reading the dummy admin logs before I realized, from the wiki telling me, that they were dummy admin logs, but there's one part, at least one part that I thought of that didn't quite match up. This is what imprinted for me, these deleted logs, somewhere around this date in 87, 6 years ago or something, around when Mom was visiting. That's when the deleted logs started. And I remember there were many deleted logs, and then this entry in between all of these deleted logs. And then more deleted logs, obviously, but if I were a bit more perceptive, I would have found that the dummy logs didn't quite match up that entire history. And if we were to pore over it with a more fine-tooth comb, I guess, we would find that probably a lot of the dates and the content from Dom K and the other admin, they probably don't match up what shows up in the dummy logs. So what was the dummy log again? It was... hang on. Great. This is going to slow down the episode immensely. Let's try to find it quickly. It's on my phone. I really should have remembered this. It was only last episode. Where is that list of suspects from a new clue? There it is. Lee B. Right. And I guess I don't have to look at this again, but just to illustrate my point. So I don't know if this first log is completely matching everything, like with the first dates and all that. But over here where the dummy logs start around 87, that apparently matches up. But there's no interruption by Dom K, I guess. saying that they add in that extra log or whatever, or the extra admins. I guess that would be the hint that it doesn't match up. Well, one of them. So the thing that we should actually try here, that I should have tried as soon as I got the third passport, and the reason I should have tried it is that the third passport that I got from the vault, even though I knew there were 4 vaults that we can open for safe deposit boxes, this third passport didn't have like anything indicating that it was a no-good passport, because the other ones had an X or it said something like compromised, looking at my photos here. But this one, the third one we got, for Gene Ribbon, was okay. So this is what I should have tried. Rib. Right, it's already B. J. And of course I previously thought before the whole new clue stuff that one of these passports would lock me in. I stumbled right at the finish line, where I got the one that would actually log me in and didn't even try it. Go figure. So yeah, the actual admin logs. It does seem like this first entry is the same as the dummy logs, but where it differs begins around the first deleted log. Nope, well, I guess it would be this one from more, rather, where we can actually see the real ones added. Let's see, December 10th, 87. I think that one's the same. And March 2nd, 87, more. The older admin. 2 new admin keys have been added to the network's user database, WISP and RibJ. No clue who WISP is, but probably one of the collaborators. The actual ones, not just like a fake dummy log. For the theft of the crown. March 3rd, WISP says, alright, Gene and I are successfully logged on now. And more R responds, because more is in on it, apparently. The next day. These admin logs can only be accessed by the Blackbridge terminal, so I advise we use this for sensitive messages and suspend electronic mail moving forward. And RibJ responds Mom based on the photo in the passport. March 6. More, as soon as you've got the network address for Manning, you can begin those file transfers. We need them ASAP. More responds the same day, copy that. It should be done by the time you and Philip are moved out of the shelter. RibJ responds the next day, if by Philip you mean Paul, then yes. That timeline can work for us. And Morai responds same day, I apologize, his admin key tripped me up for obvious reasons. I'll be wiping these logs, regardless as soon as we are done here. Philip is WISP, so... or rather it's Paul. No, Moore calls WISP Philip. But it's actually Paul. No, Paul would be the alias. She's correcting him on the alias here. And Moore is saying that he tripped up because P, the admin key, it has P in it, so he accidentally used the real name Philip without realizing he meant to use Paul, I guess. And WISP responds, be at ease, friend. It is of little consequence. Let us know when the transfer is complete. Moore responds a couple of days later with data packet transfer from Firestrom Araja. Total file size 14 kilobytes. What's this data packet? WISP responds several days later. We have finished moving and have made ourselves at home. Be advised that 2 additional crates are expected to arrive within the next 3 days. RibJ responds several months later. Randolph, instead of simply deleting these logs, would it be possible to instead replace them with manufactured messages? Okay, here we go. This is the thing that would point you towards the other ones being dummy logs. I guess I'll get back to that in a second, but I don't know, this might be the only hint that tells you that other things are dummy log other than the other things that don't match up, I guess. I'd like to leave a trail of breadcrumbs to lure would-be clue seekers down the proverbial garden path. Mora responds, yes, we can create a dummy admin account with pseudo privileges. Ribj responds, splendid. In that case, I better get to writing. Our visitor last week has given me a bit of inspiration for a new book. Yeah, so this has to be Bon Marigold? Whatever his name was. Detective Bon, I guess. And we know he's not like a good detective. He was, I think, the Red Guard, according to like the checkout or the note that he left or something. And him looking into the disappearance of Simon's mother was probably for like the treason stuff, I guess. And she's saying the whole book clue, the thing that I didn't solve but would still be a lot of hoops to jump through for a player to solve on their own, that was all just a red herring, I guess. And the real way you log in is just through the Vault Passport, Ribj. And then Mora responds like a couple weeks later, as requested yesterday, new admin key created, though the requested name doesn't quite fit with our typical links formatting, and that's the one that I remember, that's in between all of the other things, I guess, or was it? No, it was, I think. Yeah. And then we get like 1 or 2 more logs that were deleted, with P. More, I'd say it's about time to scrub these logs. The 4 of us are ready to go dark. 4 of us? I thought it was like 3. Ribj responds, Randolph, I've left the final manuscript in safe house. Please look after the other children. Other children? Not Simon? Other children? Should our paths not cross again, we will embrace each other in soot and ash. Mora responds, do not look within. Do not look back. For we are with you, and there is nothing behind you. May the black shores guide you both. So yeah, Mora is in on it. And this would have been like right before the beginning of September, where the crown was stolen. Yeah, and then these guys delisted in the database. And then the stuff we already know. RTA. This was all here before, right? Yeah. Changing of the guard. Okay, so the thought that I was having about this whole thing being dummy logs, or the other dummy logs that existed, it's kind of neat that it matches up in a way, lore-wise and all that. The first version of the logs that I read through DomK or I guess more R, whichever one, the one with all of the deleted logs, that one hinted that there were, well, it's not just in these logs, it's also over here, hinted that there are 3 delisted admin keys. And the first one that I tried, I guess, in this playthrough was the dummy one, but the 2 actual admin keys would have been with P and Ribj. I'm not sure if there was some kind of separate rabbit hole that you could have gone down to get with P's admin key. But the rabbit hole that you go down for getting the B, the dummy one, it's at least consistent with the fact that it's one of the delisted admin keys, and the whole fake universe that they create within the Lee B logs, the dummy logs, it still makes it seem like there are 3 delisted admin keys, the Hound U and Prov C, I guess. And it's almost too believable that it's just a real log or something, that you would have no way of knowing that's a dummy log unless you actually found all the contradictions. And I guess the one that I did mention in the last episode was that the mention of them being against Mary. They mentioned Mary in the dummy logs, talking about like they're going to kill her. I thought maybe I was just reading it wrong and that they were saying that they were going to hide her after the theft. But because those were dummy logs, it was meant to throw off the detective's tracks and make him think that she was actually killed and never found, and that these guys were actually completely unrelated to the people in the house, that they snuck in under the cover of night or something, got into these systems without the admins knowing, when in reality Moore was in on it the entire time. And that's what the dummy logs are. So that's cool and all. But the problem that I have with it, and it's not like a criticism of game design or something, but just like the issue with the pathing in the game, the intended pathing for the player to find secrets. I mentioned how it's too believable, almost too believable or whatever. The main thing is that it's the game design that's almost too believable, not just like the lore stuff, but the hint to even get LB, the dummy log admin access key, you have to go through a lot of stuff in a new clue, holding up the magnifying glass to things, going through the process of reading the signs and decoding the books and finding the words inside the 4 books scattered across the house or something. Just to find out, I don't remember exactly what you find out. I'm forgetting which puzzles lead to the microchip and which ones lead to LB. But I guess LB might have been like the easiest puzzle to solve there, regardless of which puzzles were harder and easier to find in a new clue. That book is a mixture of actually useful stuff, like the microchip, which was an actual real thing, not a red herring or something to throw off the detective. But at the same time, the whole puzzle where you finally be, it just feels like too much work on the player to be something that isn't actually a real thing. I mean, I guess it's still fun to find the dummy log, but how is Simon, in World, supposed to distinguish between the hints that are supposed to point towards the microchip or whatever, versus the hints that are supposed to lead towards the dummy log, which are supposed to be for the detective? I don't know, I'm just not sure what's going on in Mary's head when she created that book, the meaning or whatever. And then there's the whole thing where she held up we saw this in security footage too, she held up a pass of the route map, the train, which gave us the number code, which was part of the whole LB route anyway, I think. Or was that part of the... No, I guess that one was part of the microchip. Again, I'm mixing them up. I guess the LB one was just within the book itself, and only the book. So maybe I guess the easiest answer in the book was the red herring, and if you delved a bit deeper, you'd find the actual useful things, like the microchip and whatever else I'm forgetting. But even then, the actual login for the admin is a much simpler puzzle, if you can even call it that. You just use the passport inside the vault. And that was actually my first assumption, that we would use that before a new clue, even if it took me a while to get there. Anyway, that's enough rambling on this sort of thing. We can start playing the game now, while also talking about the other thing I botched up yesterday. So the other thing in a new clue that I didn't catch from the wiki, the stuff that they were pointing me towards that could be gleaned from a new clue. Give me the tomb, I want to get the key. The other thing was that I could have gotten the other microchip from a new clue. This was the other thing that I was trying to understand to see if there was anything that I missed from that book, and indeed there was. I actually commented on it during the episode where I was reading a new clue the first time. But there's this one page in it, and I can't bring it up now, I have the photo on my phone, but it's a page where the detective is sitting in some kind of record room or archive or something, with all these boxes and a tiled floor, and by his side is a sledgehammer and a vase. And that's supposed to be a hint that you break a sledgehammer with a vase. I thought maybe the sledgehammer was a hint towards something you do in-game, but at the time I couldn't think of any vases that we could break open. But it turns out it's a vase in the entrance hall. This is something I never would have figured out on my own. I guess the hint from the book was that the tiled floor in the record room, as drawn in the book, should have been something I recognized as the 9x5 diagram of the house. And the detective is sitting here in the entrance hall, and I guess that would point you towards using a sledgehammer on a vase in the entrance hall. Maybe it was like enough time staring at the screen. I could have figured that out, but I don't think I would have. And I don't have a sledgehammer now, but yesterday I did, and I could have done all of that microchip stuff yesterday, before I traded it away in the trading post. Kind of my biggest mistake there. But the sledgehammer shouldn't be too rare, we can probably find it. And we still have to go for the vault anyway. Let's actually try to... Oh, we can try for the conservatory first. We know how to trigger her ladyship's chamber. What we want to do is draft southwards in one of these rooms, but we can make this corner room the conservatory if we can get it. Okay, I guess it's not. Well, give us the extra dice so we can go for the thing. Although, this one's rare. Or is it? I think we made it more common. Oh yeah, we did make it more common. That's why it spawned. Let's try the other corner for the conservatory. I guess we could use some dice to get the conservatory. Did we make this more common too? No, we just kinda got it here. No conservatory. We'll go for the pool hall. I know the conservatory is rare, or unusual. I just thought it might spawn more frequently in the corner. Well, we know it can only spawn in the corner, but I thought the chance of it appearing was boosted. 7. That would be, I guess, 4 squared, 16. 16 divided by 16 is 1 times 2 is 2. That's 4 times 20 is, that is 4, right? Yeah, so 80 and then 8 and then 1. I guess we can try to dead end this before we head towards her ladyship's chamber, or try to. Still got the berry going on. Give us one of those. Unless... Are we good on steps? We might be. Maybe. Okay, this is a great berry room. Oh, but I need the magnifying glass still. That's the one thing. Oh, have I ever seen this? I think I have. But not on the edge of the house like this, I don't think. I don't think I saw this window. Just this top one before. Alright, so... our choices today are the dormitory, the classroom, and the dovecote. We've seen all of these before, so I don't have to read them. This is the one that confused me the most, because I don't understand how to trigger the dovecote effect. Whenever you draw a dovecote while drafting, you may rotate floor plans. But for this to take effect, you'd have to put down the dovecote, right? In the house? Because effects don't trigger just because you see them here. Like, you don't get the opportunity to redraw floor plans unless you put down the classroom. That's a bad example. I guess most of these are a bad example. Well, actually, maybe most room effects have that kind of description. Well, this is an example. Just because you see this effect here, it doesn't take effect until you actually put down the locker room. So that's my reasoning for why the dovecote wouldn't take effect unless it had like a special rule where just seeing it in your hand means you can do this effect, which is different from everything else. Or you would actually need 2 dovecotes for some reason. I think I want to go for the dorm because we know from one of the things, I think a letter or something, that drafting strategies, one of those volumes is here. So we might as well get this just for the effect and the extra book. Though I do want to get the dovecoat, eventually. Let's experiment up. We can probably save Blackbridge until we think we can unlock all the doors. My last experiment didn't exactly work out too well, this one. Drawing the drawing room floor plan, although we might have a better chance at this now that we're early in the day. This one would be a lot easier to do though. Yeah, we'll go with the usual, why not? We can handle the archive. We're not going to do it just yet. We're still going for Her Ladyship's chamber and I guess just in general the vault, which is how much cost? In case we ever see it? Probably 3 or 2. It's 3. Very few rooms are 3, and we actually remove the cost on this room, which was 3. Oh no, we didn't do that yet. I'm thinking of a different room. Was it the cloister? Yeah, this one we removed. So if we see a 3 gem cost room, we can probably assume that it might be the archive. Okay, well, I can do this immediately. It's not like the archives are all that rare. We'll probably see it later in the day. It's just always good to go for allowance at any point in time, I think. At least it feels like it. Do I do this now? I guess. No, wait. I need to get Her Ladyship's chamber first. It's so rare that we get the tomb. I'm not giving up on it just yet. Here, just make it the bedroom for now. We'll save that passageway for later, I guess. No item in here, so I think we're going to turn around right now before we get the archive again. Steps might actually be an issue. Let's try to draft Her Ladyship's chamber. Alright, this is a problem. We're not going north. We don't want to do this because we want to draft around. We'll avoid redrawing for now. Just give us the dice and we can use this for her chamber. Die. Don't worry, we're doing a seance to summon her lady, ship, or whatever, from beyond the grave, by which I mean we're reading her diary. And also, right, the vase. I think this is the one we have to smash open based on what I looked up. I was mentioning before the security footage that we saw Mom draw the map, the subway tunnel map. The other thing that we saw was someone walking around this foyer going in this general direction. Apparently that was a hint for this vase. But the quality on the video was so bad I didn't recognize he was carrying a vase, if that's what it was. Oh well. If we get a sledgehammer today, I'll be back for that. Crap. Crap indeed. This is not going to the left. We'll either have to do it from the bedroom or take a berry. Well, that's not the worst in the world. Those are also free redraws. This is like the second time picking a berry has given us this room, I think. Maybe berries are more inclined to be unusual rooms. Because it would be a pretty crappy bonus if it just gave you all of the rooms with your usual weights. You just end up with some boring rooms, the common ones. That's how statistics works. Yeah, we gotta continue today. I could redraw though. We have all these gems. And dice. Maybe something better to the foundation? No wait, this might have the sledgehammer. And I forgot the allowance. Is the sledgehammer there? I might as well go back and pick it up. There's no way I can... Yeah, it'll just take more steps if I wait until later in the day. Kinda wasted a lot of steps just walking back and forth these rooms. Today might be a mulligan. Hate to say it. I really should just pick up the allowance at the beginning of the day. There really isn't anything that can make me lose a lot of allowance. Only thing is the chapel, I guess. And that's not a lot. Alright, we got the magnifying glass at least. Oh, we got the sledgehammer too. I didn't see this option here. The sledgehammer kind of blends in with the shelf. Do we go back for this now? I think we go for her ladyship's chamber first and then turn around for all this stuff. Plus, the only way we can regain steps is by drafting more rooms, so... better to do that now rather than turn around. Yeah, chapel me. Or help me go this way, I guess. I'm kind of giving up on a lot of these rooms here. Chapel might have been the better option. This would have triggered the effect. We kinda need something going north, though. Sort of. We can do this. Might as well turn on power. Turn on. We're not using it yet, though. Do we want this one? No, we can make north power. Yeah, we need this to go to the left. Probably better to use dice before gems. I think... well, we get an extra room this way. It's kind of a waste of the passageway. Although the passageway does connect to the thing, the steam. But I don't want steam right now. I fear that may interfere with the chances of getting what I want out of the west side. And I actually don't know how far north I have to be for her ladyship's chamber to spawn in, while drafting south and all that. Maybe I want to save this south side for steam stuff. You know what? I think actually... yeah, let's make it the passageway, and not go in. I want to go a bit further north before we start re-rolling the dice for her ladyship's chamber, just in case it only spawns in higher ranks. So we'll also use the steam thing on that and try to connect as much steam there as we can. This was no cost and rare. That is unfortunate. Just use a dice. We have so many. I don't like that. This does give us more steps though. I guess we're giving up on the steam here. Whatever. This is probably far north enough, I think, so we need to go to the left. Breakfast nook it is, I guess. And I think this would be the moment of truth. Let's spend all of our redraws on trying to get her ladyship's chamber here, hopefully. Starting with the dice. I'm sure it spawned this far north before, or this far south before. Probably. Wait, this could work. Let's do this first. This will increase our chances by making it a bedroom. Hopefully it can spawn in rank 3. There it is, okay, perfect. Didn't have to redraw. We can finally do this. It's been a long time coming. I was beginning to think I might have to get the king bonus and make all of the more likely rooms drawn the bedrooms, but we got here on our own, I guess. And now the juicy secrets within, apparently unrelated to a sanctum key based on what I looked up. The fact that this didn't appear in any of the stuff that I looked up regarding the sanctum keys or even the red letters, so what could this even be? Her ladyship's diary. Oh, and I guess we have the magnifying glass for this. No, wait, her sleep diary. 1779, several years ago. Like way before anything, even in the Blackbridge logs. My dear diary, after countless sleepless nights and failed home remedies, my physician has urged me to document my sleeping routines in the various bedrooms of our estate. It is his hope that by tracking the caliber and lengths of my sleep in each room, together, we may come to a deeper understanding of my condition and perhaps, with luck, find a more favorable environment in which I might finally find some amount of rest. Clara. I guess it didn't exactly work out for her. Next day, it seems. My dear diary, to begin. I thought it best to start with my own room despite knowing how unsuitable it has been for my sleep of late. Perhaps it is all the old memories that linger here, as it is impossible not to think of home among so many mementos of my youth. Nonetheless, I find comfort in gazing at the stars before dozing off, and it pains me to consider that if this trial is successful, it may be one of the final occasions that I sleep here. Clara. My room. Sleep duration, 2.5 hours. That's not good. Quality, peaceful despite brevity. Observable effects. I awoke the following morning with 10 less steps, but also observed an additional star in the sky. So this is a game mechanic? It's like the observatory, or the planetarium, where you end the day in that and you gain a star. But for free. Except you lose some steps in the next day. Are these all the same thing, or... maybe some of them, yeah. I guess all the bedrooms were this secret thing all along? I had no idea. Dearest Diary, last night, I retired to the guest room, as I have yet to gain the courage to ask anyone to surrender their room to me, even for a night. This bedroom is a cozy space, normally reserved for guests staying the weekend. However, I found, despite having a choice between 2 beds, that neither... This magnifying glass is kind of in the way. That neither proved to be very comfortable. I must speak with Herbert about this, as our guests deserve, at the very best, as much comfort in their stay as we have. Clara. Guest bedroom sleep duration 4 hours. Quality very fragmented. Observable effects nothing special. I guess not every bedroom. My dear diary, it was strange to sleep in the childhood room of my late husband. The room was just as I had imagined it from the stories he told me of growing up with an elder brother. Herbert informed me that the room has remained untouched, almost identical to when they both occupied it. To avoid any accidents, I slept in the bottom bunk, as climbing ladders is not as easy as it used to be. Despite my exhaustion, my thoughts of Simon kept me up through most of the night. Simon Elder, the Baron S. Sinclair, not us. No, wait, not Herbert. Simon, his brother, yeah. Herbert's brother, and Simon would be her husband. Right, that's how the relationship works. Sleep duration, twice the usual being 2.5, I guess. Quality, 2 times as restless. Oh, right, because it's the bunk room, and it's twice. Observable effects. The next morning I went to the family tomb to visit his grave, and was surprised to find a flower already laid. What? So this has an effect on the tomb? At Simon's grave? Have we seen Simon's grave? I think we've only ever seen Herbert's. Interesting. Maybe we'll have to try this sometime. And I guess, thinking about it, this is kind of like a huge secret, right? You have to get to the outer room, which, even though we did that way before we even got to room 46, it's still a ways into the game before you unlock the west gate and get the outer room. But after you do that, and get the tomb, and light the torches to get the key, and find a way to get the key into her ladyship's chamber, which is a pretty tough requirement, only then do you get these things, which are apparently here just for the purpose of gameplay benefits, plus some additional lore from Clara. But I guess these are beneficial because they're a roguelike thing, they're roguelike knowledge. They give you a strategy for ending your day to get bonuses for the next day. In a sense, a permanent upgrade in itself, as long as you remember how these work. I'll maybe take pictures of these, I don't know. So far it seems easy to remember. They're all like lore-based. I could not begin to ask myself, or ask Hartley, directly if I could borrow his room for my sleep study. The mere thought of it was mortifying. Instead, I decided to roll the die, as he often puts it, and wait for his night off to sneak into his room to nap. The experience of sleeping in a servant's room was thrilling. A lady with a penchant for adventure, I guess. But the fear of getting caught was overwhelming. Every little noise startled me, and I couldn't manage to sleep for more than a few moments, fearing Hartley would return at any time. Clara. Sleep duration perhaps 1 hour, quality terrible. Effects. About half the steps the following day. I also discovered a stray die had found its way into my pocket, which was hardly shocking given Hartley's history. I don't know what they're saying about Hartley and the die, but we saw this before. You know, I thought this was a bug, didn't I? I remember that one day I started with, like, a die, without a clear explanation for why I started it. And I had, like, half the steps. I thought it was a bug, for some reason. Like, it carried over a die into tomorrow, and, I don't know, somehow my step count got messed up for tomorrow. It must have been because I ended the day in the servants' quarters. Yeah, I think that sounds familiar. I was probably saying to myself, let's just end the day over here in the servants' quarters. And I think my words were something like, because I deserve it, or something like that. Probably because I had a pretty bad run that day and I thought I deserved a night in the servants' quarters. And apparently that gave me some bad sleep. Interesting, that was a mechanic. My dear diary, I have to confess that I was initially hesitant to spend the night in the Baron's room. Oh yeah, I guess that would be a bit suspect. It's extravagantly showy, with every surface adorned with gold and every piece of furniture so large it seems almost comical. But as I lay down on the enormous bed, I was surprised to find that I felt entirely at ease. Even the absurdly oversized pillows were somehow comfortable, propping me up just right, so that I didn't feel any stain on my neck or back. I slept more soundly than I have in weeks, and I woke up feeling genuinely rested, for the first time in what feels like forever. Clara. Sleep duration 8 whole hours. Wow. Quality the best in many months. She should really sleep in that room then. They should just trade rooms. Let Herbert sleep here. I guess they could have done that years ago, but it probably didn't happen. Observable effects. I awoke feeling very refreshed, with more energy, and more steps than normal. Okay. This is the one. If you manage to get this super rare room, somehow. Non-standard room. Or non-standard page, it seems. As fate would have it, just as I had begun to make progress in my quest of slumber, not that said guest, A most joyous event has interrupted my progress. My beloved daughter has given birth to a son. Oh, that's you, Simon. So that makes you 14 years old, or about? It's almost your birthday. What happens on Simon's birthday, I wonder? Anything special? Maybe you get like a letter or something from dear old dad saying, "Happy birthday, Simon." Who knows? Maybe not. Where was I? My beloved daughter has given birth to a son and has requested my presence in town to assist her during this exciting but demanding time. For now, I shall take my leave of the bedrooms of Mount Holly, but I am certain, dear diary, that one day I shall return. Lady Clara Epson, grandmother. Oh, what's this? I know what this is, but... hang on. Nope, this is the last page. No more stuff about the bed, but... what's going on here? That's the outer room, but what's it trying to teach me here? Something about the outer room with the walls that aren't the entrance being something else, I guess? Is this indicating some kind of four-way thing? None of the outer rooms have alternate doorways, not that I know of. Unless we're talking about the tomb, which has one alternate doorway. What even is this? Alright, before I start going down, like, more rabbit holes of never figuring out how these things work. Never figuring out how these things work. I'm just going to actually look this up quickly. Because maybe this is a thing that I should already know, or it's right under my nose, or... if I find out that it's something that I would have no way of knowing, then maybe I'll just give up until, I don't know, I stumble across it somehow. Her Ladyship's Sleep Diary. Let's see. Her Ladyship's Diary. And on the wiki, they usually list a lot of hint things here. I guess this doesn't list every bedroom, so there might be other effects not listed. This doesn't seem to indicate anything about the last page. Let's try to find some other site. Okay, yeah, someone posts on the Reddit page, or on a Reddit post, something about the last page, etc., etc. The diary gives you a very important clue on the last page. It tells you to put the antechamber in the outer room for a pretty big clue. How do you do that? Huh. Okay. Seems like there's a blessing for it. That was the answer I got. I guess I haven't seen all the blessings. Maybe I'll look up all the blessings after this. But I guess that's the antechamber, apparently. This room. I guess so, sure. Does it have to be the antechamber, or can it be any four-way room? Well, I'll just assume what the Reddit post said is true, and it has to be the antechamber. It's not like it's that hard to get to the antechamber. I would like to go back and fix my mistakes of... well, get the red letter and also the microchip. We're not wasting today, though. We still have to get our steps back with this, and we're not going to walk all the way back until we're done here. Yeah, observatory, I guess. Maybe we'll get some steps back. Oh no, that's a bad one. Do we want this? Hang on. We know what that is. No, wait, I guess we kind of want that? Do we really want that, though? It gives us more dead-end rooms, but that combos with the tomb for coins. But we don't need coins. Not really. Although, the vault is a dead-end room. We do want that. And we can re-roll if we get a dead end. If the dead end would somehow make us not get progress in the house. Okay, we do want to do this today, I guess. Oh, but I want this. We'll go for the 1 gem cost if we do happen to see it archived or something. The archives aren't a complete stop to strategizing, it just means 33% less strategizing or so. But we're not going to lose half our steps. Yeah, dark roomy. Unfortunately, this doesn't let us archive. Why not? Might as well. Might as well make it a berry. Although, could be that dead end room. It is a gem room. Probably not bad. Okay, it wasn't the one I was looking for. Do we want to launder anything right now? We can't do steps. Unfortunately, we're not connected to Steam here. We could have been if these 2 rooms were Steam, but they weren't. No items on the table. I think we're good on currency, unless we really need keys later. We can come back for the keys, I guess. If we have to. This could be a dead end. We have to be careful about this. We can't just dead end ourselves here. We're not done with today. I guess the gym isn't the worst thing in the world. And we can't gamble on just having the gem cost on the archive room being a not dead end, because as we saw just now, it can be one. And they're more likely. Check this one first. No item. This is helpful. For a few reasons. Yeah, do it. I'm ashamed I'm not doing the archives as much as I want to, as much as I should. It's probably fine though. South. Okay, this would be a lot of gems, but I think it'll... Well, this does give us the door. Okay. After this, we're doing the archives for sure. We have enough doors, I think. The gems are in the white box. A box with a false statement contains the gems. The statement on the white box is true. Let's look at one of these that talks about true or false first. Let's say this is true, then the white box is true too, meaning this one has to be false. If the white box is true, then it would be in the only false box, so far the reality can be real. And this false box says the gems are in the white box, which they're not, they're in the false blue box. So yeah, that's a reality, which means it's the reality. I'm running low on keys here. Well, okay, keys, sure. It'd be great if we could exit from the garage here, save some steps. I was going to archive this, but we need the keys. But next time for sure, is what I said last time. No items. Almost at rank 8. Should I try going north here? I did want to archive, but... Fine, archive me. Yeah, it's the lavatory. That's fine. We can still go north. We just have to not gamble here. Gift shop? That works. That goes in all the directions we want. Unfortunately, we're passing up the new room. And we can't afford this thing. Cursed coffers. So yeah, this ended to the shrine. I guess next time we're there we can do this. At least unlock the curse mode, I guess. That's not free. Let's start with rank 8. Before we run out of keys again. I don't know, archive me. We might be giving up on today if we... You know what? Give me a few more rooms while we still have redraws remaining. I want to go to the left and right. I guess the vestibule counts. Sure. I do still want to do this, kind of, but it's pretty late in the day. Maybe we go for this today and try to get the conservatory. Alright, that's unlocked. Yeah, archive me. Alright, more gems for more free draws. That's fine. I did write this down in my notebook in case I need it later. But it might not even be a puzzle. Should I just assume everything's a puzzle? I don't know. We do want the corner room, and we want to go left and right. Conference room, that works. What was that 3 gem cost thing? Wait, was that the vault? Did I just pass up the vault? Or was that 2 gems? Whatever. Now the conservatory was a... one cost, unusual. Oh no, that's the last key. Maybe I should have taken the, that other thing, the code check. Remove my gem cost so I can just spend them on redrawing. This could be the one cost thing I'm looking for. Conservatory. Let's redraw a couple more times. One more time. Okay, I guess use a gem until we get a 1 cost that might be... Okay, there it is. Good. That's what I wanted. Can't dig any of this up. Wow, this would have been really helpful. But I already did this today. We might as well though, right? It's just a very good room. Wine cellar 2, also a very good room. 3 gems for free. Servants' quarters, it's a 1 cost, but a lot of keys. And I guess you can get a dice for tomorrow if you sleep in it at the cost of half your steps. Funny how this works out. This room would have been perfect if I got it a lot earlier when I was trying to go for very specific rooms to progress my thing. The one room we need from this room right now is the vault to spawn, so we can change the rarity on that and get the final thing. Which might not even happen on the first day we get the vault from this point forward, because we have to get the key on the same day we get the vault, which is why we want the vault to be as common as possible. Oh well. I guess my luck has been decent. I don't know how bad other people might have had it, so at least I did the one thing that I wanted this episode, which was read Her Ladyship's diary. And now we know all about sleeping. And even though we're not going to go to sleep right now, it is time to end the episode. Now would be a good time to take a break.